Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Just got round from my sister's, a bit of a family gathering. Kids running all over the place. My idea of, I won't stay long then. But the general feeling is, we've had enough of this heat now. They were discussing, you know, emigrating to Spain and things like that, and my sister just looked up and said, I can't even cope with it here, let alone cope with it 8 months of the year. We did get rain last night. I don't know how much, and it certainly couldn't have been heavy rain because it didn't wake me up, which it normally would. But we had a drop of rain last night. Just about enough to save me having to water my tubs and bonsai outside today. I think I got away with it, but I'll have to get at it tomorrow. Unless we get some more tonight, which it doesn't look like it. It is becoming tedious. My workload is just getting, it's just a heavier workload every day. I mean, my ones that shouldn't dry out used to go, on average, 4 to 5 days in the summer months. They go over 2 weeks in the winter, but in the summer, around that sort of time. And it's now coming to the 3rd day, they're starting to look dry. So they're coming round like every 3 days. And my other pots, which would normally be like 6 to 7 days, they're coming round every 3 or 4 days. And the cycles are all going out of sync. So every single day now, apart from the mounts, which I take as read, there's stuff to water. And that puts a workload on getting the RO unit out a lot more frequently because I'm using my water up. And today, it was one of those days where I looked at it and I thought, right, let's get on and water these mounts and get those out of the way. And then I looked at the pots and I thought, blow it, you can flip and wait till tomorrow. I'm going out. I want to go and do something other than orchids. So I did, and I've just got back. I just wanted to show this little pinguicula. This is absolutely gorgeous. I've got a feeling that may be the first time that one's bloomed. I'm not sure. I don't keep tabs on them. I mean, they just come and go. And there's another one out here. Very pretty little flowers. And that one's just going, I think. But yeah, it's getting hard work out here now because I'm not getting a rest. I'm not getting a day when I can take a day off anymore. There's always stuff to do out here. And I gave my mounts a good, absolute good soak today and a feed and everything. And then I looked at the pots and I thought, blow it, you can wait till tomorrow. And lo and behold, after lunch, it clouded over and it's dropped that down considerably. That's come down from around 30 down to 26 this afternoon. I mean, it's tea time. Cool, I didn't realise it was that late in the afternoon. It's tea time. I thought that funny gurgling sound was one of the cats snoring. It must be my tummy rumbling. So tea time now. But yeah, it's the workload's getting such that I'm not enjoying it, and I really could enjoy so much a break in the weather for a while. I'd love to go out and film around the sort of housing estate. There isn't any green on the ground. All of the grass is now brown. It's gone. There is no green grass anywhere to be seen. There might be a bit in people's back gardens that are using sprinklers, but apart from that, it's just gone now. And a lot of the flowers and things in people's gardens are just looking dead. It's just getting, it's not, this country doesn't get this sort of weather, and the sort of plants people have are not geared up to it. You know, we haven't got those sort of plants. We buy the sort of plants that enjoy getting rained on a lot. Unfortunately this year they're not getting rained on. So, oh, and I wanted to explain something. My business with the computer. As you know, I normally post a video each day. There will be an odd day when I don't. This was nearly one of them. And, you know, there isn't always something to film. It's just as simple as that. But I'm going to go back to the idea of like doing a shelf So you know, which has a more detailed look at the plants on that shelf. You know, I'm looking at a shelf that would be a good candidate. There's quite a lot of variety on that shelf. There's a couple of struggling plants, some strapping plants, some that are in bloom, some that may come into bloom soon. You know, just looking round like that. Gotcha, you little tyke. That's the first ant I've got today. One. Oh, the numbers are dropping down nicely. Yeah, so I just wanted to explain that I get up early. I get up when it gets light. Very rarely do I sleep in. It's just the way it is. It's normally the screaming seagulls that wake me up, which is just after dawn, which at this time of year is about 5:15, something like that. So I'm up and I get myself feed the cats, get myself a coffee, fire up the computer and do my YouTube stuff. Yeah, so I check that YouTube have paid me if they're supposed to. Well, that's only a monthly event, but it does chop and change how quickly or slowly they get round to doing those sorts of things. If you think about how much money, because YouTube works on a monthly cycle, yeah, so as the calendar month comes to an end, it decides that it owes you this amount of money, but it can make that payment across to the AdSense account when it pleases. Now, what do you think the difference between, say, making that payment on the 8th of the month or making it on the 12th of the month would be? How much interest do you think they would get on that money by just hanging on to it a little bit longer? Now, it makes no difference to us, the creators, when the money goes across from YouTube, because that's not when you get it. It goes into an account, and that account pays out around the 21st of the month, except for this month, of course, because the 21st is a weekend. So it's not going to go across into my bank until at least Monday or Tuesday. But it's a monthly cycle. Which day of the month it happens on really doesn't matter. But anyway, I get in and I have a look round, make sure there's no stroppy comments or rows breaking out in the comments section, and that hasn't happened for so long. It's hardly worth looking, really. And I get onto my comments. So if you leave a comment like in the middle of the day, UK time, you're not going to get a response till the following morning. You see what I mean? Because that's when I do my comments. I very rarely look at my comments again later in the day. I do it first thing in the morning, and I do it once a day. So any that get missed because they arrive a little bit after that point will get dealt with the next day. Yeah? So don't feel like I'm ignoring you. Everybody gets dealt with. But it is on that sort of basis. That's just very sad looking at that. My epidendrum's going over. Very little blooms left on that now. It's almost, in fact, when I get to water that, probably tomorrow, those spikes can come off, and that will put more energy into the new growths that are coming on. Wedding bells is going as well. There's virtually, I think that's the only bloom left that's intact. All the others have gone. It's just the blooms are not lasting long in this heat. That's something else that's messing me about. You know, blooms that would normally last, say, 4 weeks are only lasting like 2.5 weeks. So I'm losing blooms. You know, I just can't keep up with it. But that one's hanging in there. This quite honestly goes up into the star performer category for me. I didn't expect so much from this plant when I got it. I knew the blooms were attractive. I've seen them enough times. They're around at shows and turn up on sales tables and things. Number 2 ant. I just happened to be looking at that and it got out of the corner of my eye. They're turning up in odd places now. They were predominantly on Cattleya new growths and on the Vanda spikes, and now they're just turning up in odd places. But if they move and I see them, that's the end of their days. They cease to be, providing I can get at the little tykes. But it's down to manageable numbers now. I was starting to worry that the numbers were getting high enough that they could start colonising pots, which you really don't want. They'll chew your media to pieces and spit the bits out the bottom. You don't want them in your pots at that level. So they don't do any harm to the plant, so not a big deal. But yeah, so my comments are dealt with first thing in the morning on a daily basis, providing I'm at home. I don't go away that much, so most of the time that's the normal procedure. So if you leave a comment, you know, after that time, then it will be the next day that I get round to sort of answering it, especially if it's a question. There's no questions that go unanswered. I always put an answer, even if the answer is I don't know, or I don't have any of those types of orchids, so I don't really know. I'm quite happy to say that. I don't make stuff up. I either know the answer, or I'm happy to look it up, or I'll just say I don't know. Anyway, I'll see what I can do tomorrow. I might be in a better mood for orchids and stuff tomorrow. I just had one of those days today where I thought, blow it. And quite honestly, orchids are pretty sturdy things, and in the main the stuff that didn't get watered today that should have done is things like dendrobiums and the Oncidium alliance stuff, and if they stay dry for a day it's not going to kill them, you know, it's not the end of the world. They won't shrivel up and die or anything like that, so I know what I can get away with and what is too dangerous. Like in this heat, if I missed my mounts for a day, they'll be fine. But if I missed them for a second day, I really would be pushing my luck. And that's where the sprayer comes in handy, is on those days where I haven't got time to do a proper watering. Well, spraying the moss and the roots with water is at least some hydration, and it's better than nothing. And certainly in this weather that option's getting used a little more often. But I've tried the sprayer with the pots, and in a lot of cases it just doesn't work. It's not getting enough water in there, so it cannot substitute for a proper soaking. But it's a little top-up which could tide me over a day. Oh, right, that's 3. It's me saying there was only 1. That's 3 since I've been out here, but it's still low numbers. I'll live with it. Yeah, so I'll get on to film something a bit more sensible tomorrow. It just dawned on me that I've never really explained that I do my comments first thing in the morning, UK time. So it might seem at times that it's a hell of a long time before I get round to answering your comment. That can be due to time zones, yeah? I mean, my UK time, you know, at this time of year is sometime between about 5:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah? Well, that could be the middle of the afternoon, the middle of the night, or whatever in your country. But that's the UK time I do my comments, and I deal with them all. Yeah, even if I have to go and look stuff up, I do them all over a couple of coffees and while I wake myself up, and then I start thinking about other stuff for the day. So that's just a sort of how it goes, and I'll see what I can do for tomorrow. That really is nice, isn't it? It's I don't know what you call it. It's a mass-produced into generic at the end of the day, Catatanti. It's common as muck, you know, you can pick them up in supermarkets and garden centres, but I don't care where it comes from, and I don't care how many people have got it and how common as muck it is. It's gorgeous. And if you come across it, whether it's a named clone or not, because there are quite a few named varieties of Catatanti, they are all slightly different. But there's no major difference. They are basically the lovely autumn colours, and they've normally got the yellow tinges to the edges of the petals and sepals. But they look much nicer without great big fat mealybugs in the middle of their blooms. Just the one. Yeah, where there's one, there could be more later. That's another thing with this flipping weather. The bugs are a little bit more frequently occurring than they would normally be. All good stuff. Anyway, I'll see you in whatever I decide to film tomorrow, but it'll be probably a snap decision as and when I get out here and get cracking and try and catch up a bit. So see you tomorrow. Bye for now.